Welcome back. Another week right here on the program, and I'm really happy to have you guys join us every week, man. The things that you guys have been telling me recently, they're very encouraging, and I'm really happy about pushing forward and going on and doing this. If I sound a little slow today, is because for the first time we're having Tequila on the Michael Sartain podcast. Shout out to Dan and Ignite Tequila, because we're having some of that on the podcast. And we've got two very special guests who enjoy tequila. Tequila is going to be one of the main topics that we talk about today. We've got Miss Brianna Gonva. Brianna, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful. We're excited here to have you. And then we have Sabrina Calvo.
Hello.
Hey, awesome. What city do you guys live in?
Miami.
You're both in Miami right now.
Miami, yes. Miami.
And I thought it was really interesting because we talked about this last night when we were also having tequila. You guys are coming across the country because there's more opportunity here.
Absolutely.
Can you expound a little bit about how it is in Miami versus how it is in Los Angeles or Las Vegas?
I mean, it's so confusing because, I actually used to live in LA, and I lived there for about a year, and then, COVID happened. So I everything just kind of shut down. But even when it was like halfway shut down, I still had way more work, which was way better paying in LA than currently that it's, in Miami, we're practically fully open. And even then, like I still made way more money. I had way many more jobs in LA during COVID than now that we're in Miami fully open.
So for context, you guys both do swimsuit, right? A lot of swimsuit modeling and other modeling like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, I haven't even got to that part yet. What do you think about this so far, Sabrina?
So yeah, I do a lot of swimsuit, which is perfect for Miami. But I actually came here to Vegas, to the West Coast, because work over there is just, it's terrible right now for models. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of work, but it just feels like the rates have gone down a lot. And for the same kind of work that you do over there, you go to LA, you go to Vegas, and it's just like, it's literally like quadruple.
Yeah, so it's 4 times as much what you end up making.
Yes.
I don't think it's 4 times as much in LA. I think it's 4 times less in Miami.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's a better, because
it's crazy.
Because for the same sort of video shoot that you would do in Miami with an A+ artist, in LA, it's like 4 times more the amount of the pay, which is insane. It's like I just don't know what's going on. Why is that?
Yeah, which is funny because a friend of mine mentioned, he said, you guys should have a union.
Yeah,
in Miami, a swimsuit models union.
No.
Listen,
So
I will lead this.
don't get
I will lead
underpaid.
this union.
There's actors unions.
Of course there are.
Why can't there be models union? Why don't we have one yet?
So there sort of is. So it not quite unions, but there are right to work states, and then there's states where you can unionize. There's where you have some levels of exclusivity. I'm not sure if there's a models union, but there probably is some sort of like entertainers union that you can join in the state of California. I don't know how it works.
California,
definitely not
Florida.
Definitely not in Nevada.
Not
definitely not in Texas. Definitely not in Florida, or Louisiana, which is the reason why a lot of these places are now filming movies, regular movies and TV shows, and pornography in states other than California because of some of those laws. So that is a really interesting point. Getting back to you, Brianna, you are Mexican. You are the only Mexican I have ever met that lives in Florida. I'm sure there's a few more, but like I'm from Texas, and there was nothing but Mexicans. And when I go to Florida, when I go to New York, I meet Dominican, I meet Puerto Rican, I meet Venezuelan, I meet Colombian, and I'm Colombian, but I never meet Mexicans when I'm in Florida. That's why I was surprised to hear that. How did your family end up in Florida?
So actually, funny story. I was always raised between Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, Mexico, which is the border of El Paso, Texas. So, Mexico, but it's a border.
Yeah.
And I was always raised between there and North Carolina. And it wasn't until about almost, 2 years ago now that I moved. I was my whole life between Mexico and North Carolina. And then I moved to Los Angeles. And then 2 weeks later, COVID happened. So
I remember when you moved, because we did a bikini competition, and then COVID happened a couple weeks after that. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I moved from North Carolina to LA. I was in LA for a few months, and then I stayed there for a few months, and then like 9 months later, I was like, listen, like LA shut down. I can't do anything here. There's nothing going on. It's like very depressing. So then from LA, that's when I moved to Miami, and that's how I ended up in Miami.
Beautiful. And you do work with Telemundo and Monster Energy?
Correct. Yes.
Oh, nice. What do you do for Telemundo?
So I've never been into acting. It wasn't until after COVID that, like everything pretty much shut down with Monster Energy, all the events and all the other stuff that I typically do. And then the Telemundo opportunity came along, and I've never been into acting. But then I did one thing with Telemundo, and I was kind of not an extra, but I was kind of a double. So I did the whole acting thing, and I liked it. And then I did one job, and then they hired me again for another one. And I'm on like my 4th job with them right now. So
Beautiful.
yeah, I think it's awesome. And like now I'm on my TikToks, and I'm doing all these acting like TikToks, and I'm like, Sabrina, what do you think? Do I look amazing?
Is that what you say? She comes to you. She
Yes.
goes, Sabrina, do I look amazing?
Yeah, it's funny because I always tell her, I was like, I think the funniest TikToks, which I think we're both doing a lot of, is
Yeah.
that like Latinas be like, or like all these like crazy like Latina TikToks. So that's like our specialty, and we love to act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like living down in Miami, especially if you're Latina, I feel like when you're a model, it just comes with so much territory. Aside from modeling and doing photo shoots, like you're also acting, you're doing hosting, you're doing so many different things. So when people always ask me, they say, "Whoa, what do you do?" And I say modeling for short. But there's so many things. It's so broad. And like I said, being Latina in Miami, they're always trying to get you to do telenovelas or commercials or Telemundo or Univision. So it works really well for us being down there. But still,
this is where we go back to the
Yeah.
point that we were mentioning earlier, how underpaid it is in Florida. Miami, basically. That's the only,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just,
No, that makes sense. That's
and
crazy.
it's sad because it's like you will do the same exact job in LA, and then in LA it's paid like 4 times more.
That's crazy.
So
And everybody's come down to Miami, I guess,
Yeah.
post-COVID.
Yeah.
We're still in COVID, but everybody's come down to Miami. So there's so many models and so many.
Okay, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, that definitely-
But even beforehand. But right now, yeah, there's just so many people that I feel like sometimes they choose, I guess that's saying quantity over quality.
Yes.
Where in LA, they hire more quality,
Yeah.
right? And that's why we're kind of getting a little tired of being there.
Yeah.
And we've been talking a lot about London and LA, so maybe
I don't know. And I did live in LA before, and
Yeah.
like when I was in LA, like even I was in LA during COVID, and even during COVID, I still got way more jobs. I still got paid way more
Yeah.
than now that I'm in Miami post COVID. So
Well, I mean, that's interesting. I would love to see a YouTube series of the two of you in London. I think that would be fantastic. Just speaking Spanish.
I think we need our whole like TV series show because oh my god.
Yeah, we're actually talking to a friend yesterday. She was trying to tell us not to go to London because
Yeah.
people are like rude, which I've actually had a different experience. But she's telling us, she's like, yeah, I had to stop one time. I was going to a casting, and I stopped someone to ask for directions. And what did they say? They were like, piss off, piss off,
Piss off, mate.
piss off, mate.
Piss off, mate.
So I was thinking, I was like, what would I do if someone told me to piss off when I'm trying to ask for directions and I couldn't come up with a comeback, which I'm pretty witty and I'm pretty quick.
Yeah.
So what did I tell
But
you?
that's also New York. Like,
No,
have
New York's
you-
not like, no, I don't think so. I love
I don't
New
know.
York.
Every time I go to New York and I'm
Like-
on the subway, I ask like the person there in charge of the subway, and they're just like,
Nah.
they just stare at me.
They stare
like,
at you.
You
They don't have time for you.
freaking peasant.
I
Like,
love
what do you
New
want?
York. That mentality is what I like. Like I like people who are real, who are fast, who are
Yes.
committed, and they're on time.
Right.
That's the one thing I like about Miami.
Except the
which is-
subway runners, whatever you call them.
Subway runners. There we go.
I don't know
Shout
what
out
you
to all
call
the subway runners. Sabrina, you are Venezuelan?
Yes,
How
I'm
did your family?
Venezuelan and Spanish.
Venezuelan Spanish. Okay.
Yes.
And then how your family has always been from Miami?
No, so I came to Miami when I was about 6 years old.
Okay.
My father's from Spain, my mother's from Venezuela, and I was born in Venezuela.
Okay.
And I was pretty much raised there.
Yeah.
I did start school in Venezuela, and then I came up here, in Miami, and It's been good. I'm very grateful. I feel like if I was in Venezuela now, things would be so much different.
They'd be a little
wouldn't
different.
Even have a future.
No, I mean it would definitely be quite
hard.
hard.
And I mean, I haven't gone back to Venezuela in a very long time, and mainly it's because my family prohibited me from going because they were scared that something could happen. I mean, anybody could just literally, like, there's so many kidnappings. It's called like express kidnappings. They kidnap you. They see what, they see something they like, they take you, or they see maybe you have a little bit of money or more so than, Well,
that's a concern from me and my family going back to Medellin, is the same kind of thing. And I'm not fluent in Spanish, so I walk around this big dude with a Texas accent, and then the concern is always what you just said.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's I don't think it's as bad in Colombia as it is in Venezuela.
No. Especially Medellin. I've been to Medellin recently, and it's not.
Yeah,
Medellin is the closest thing to me that I've been to, and I've traveled a lot.
Yeah.
It's the closest thing to Caracas, to Venezuela. Okay. And I absolutely love it. I absolutely love Medellin.
Yeah.
But I mean, I speak Spanish. So if I were there maybe speaking English, I'd be more of a target. So you just have to be very careful.
For sure.
Always,
sure.
But that's kind of, most.
Yeah, but that does make the difference that you do speak Spanish.
Absolutely, yeah.
That makes all the difference.
For sure.
If you're in a Spanish-speaking country and you do, then
you do swimwear modeling, Zumba. What is Zumba? I don't know if I know what Zumba is.
So Zumba is like, so I've done a lot of catalog shoots for Zumba.
Yeah.
So Zumba fitness wear.
Okay.
It's like a dance. It's like a workout dance class.
I do know what this is now. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like the catalog shoots for their clothes because they have a clothing line.
Okay, that's all right. Got it. And then Fashion Nova.
Yeah, I've done some Fashion Nova stuff. I'm also an influencer, so I do a lot of different brands, and so I'm an influencer model. I guess model first,
okay,
and then recently I've become an influencer.
It kind of comes nowadays,
with the territory.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So
that word is confusing to a lot of people. I don't know if you're aware, but to a lot of people, it feels like when you say influencer, you mean what, like a celebrity, right? But that's not what it means. It's like, as a micro influencer, you're just trying to help, push a brand. Correct. or sell something else like that. And the fact of the matter is, you two are both attractive models. So like whatever you're going to post, it doesn't make any difference. Like what I mean to say by this is, if you guys had 10,000 followers or 10 million, you're both attractive regardless. So it doesn't make any difference how many followers you have. You guys are both still attractive. So it would still work.
Would still influence.
Correct. And that's one thing. I had some other guests on here to talk about it. And it was like, for a girl to start today on IG, for her to grow is so much harder than it was if she started in 2014. The same girl would have 8 million followers. Right now, she's got 50,000. And so that has been like a big thing. And then also, one thing that makes the conundrum even worse is that now you go on TikTok. Now a girl, she goes on TikTok and she gets like 4 million followers. She goes on Instagram. She can't even get 50,000. Well, what's she going to do? She's going to stop going on IG. And you start seeing, like, literally this is happening. I've seen this before, where a girl who's very pretty cannot get more followers than her mother. Yeah. She can't get more followers than her mother, who's 37, 38. Her mother's been, she was in Playboy 10 years ago, and she has 4 million followers. And this girl, she can't even get 50. It's crazy, sort of the things that are happening. And I feel like Instagram, because of their new algorithm, is literally pushing some young people away from their platform.
Oh, absolutely. So it took me forever to get on Instagram. I was constantly, my friends were always telling me, get on Instagram. And when I first started, I was private for a few years, and it wasn't up until maybe like 4 years ago.
Was there a man involved for you to be private?
No. It was just I'm actually a very private person. So I post, I do post things that I do. I post things about work. I post things when I'm with my friends, but I don't post anything about like relationships. I don't post much with my family just because I feel like I have to protect them in some form or way.
For sure.
But I didn't become public for maybe 4 years, but I also had a friend who's not my friend anymore.
Okay.
Who would always tell me, don't go public. Don't go public.
Why?
Don't go public.
Because he had a crush on you.
I think we know why.
I told you. I just said
she's
that.
not my friend anymore for a reason.
She's jealous.
She would tell me, don't go public. And she went public as well. And when I went public, I started blowing up. And, some people especially some people that you grow up with, I feel like I've realized that when you grow up with someone and you're friends with for such a long time, there comes a point that when someone is going up and the other person's staying stagnant, or where they're not happy with maybe the way things are going in their life, and this person's all of a sudden glowing.
Yes.
They have so much jealousy or envy that they don't want to see you grow.
That is one of the reasons, like, I have always felt like when I go home back to Dallas, it's always, hey, let's go, eat pizza and drink beer and watch football, because then we're just kind of all at the same level, right? But you're right. When it's somebody that you knew and you grew up with, and all of a sudden they start a publicly traded company, or they become a billionaire or a famous model or an actor, it's like there's this little bit of like jealousy. It's like, oh, you can't. When it's Brad Pitt, I don't know Brad Pitt. He just came out of nowhere, right? But if it's some dude that I went to high school with, and all of a sudden he wins the Heisman Trophy, like that's kind of a big deal. And a lot of times that happens. It also is. A book that I'm going to refer to often is When Men Behave Badly by David Buss.
I have to read this.
Fantastic book. But it talks about where you have a married couple, and then something changes between the attractiveness or the status of the people in the couple. Like, for instance, a guy, all of a sudden he goes from making $100,000 a year to $450,000. Maybe he's a cardiologist or something. He finally finishes medical school, and he's making a lot more money. Or I've seen this happen a lot, where a girl will, come out here and she'll get a job as a cocktail server. She'll make $200,000 a year, and then all of a sudden her husband is not that interesting anymore. I've seen several women move out here and then end up getting into a divorce. And so because of the change in status between the two, then that ends up causing a lot of people to split up. Go ahead.
I do have a question. So, I mean, I'm sure you've heard about this, the 7-year rule.
Okay. What's the 7-year rule? I'm not sure.
I'm sure you heard about this. So it's like, okay, so scientifically speaking, every 7 years, all your like cell blood.
Oh, you're talking about
regenerated.
You regenerate everything. Okay, that, to a certain extent, you do not regenerate all of your nerve cells.
Not all of it,
Yeah.
but your taste buds. At least for me personally, personally, like I definitely feel like I am completely different than I was 7 years ago. I completely like different. Like 7 years ago, I did not even like sushi. I was just like, oh, gross, raw fish.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, I love it. So it's like, I don't know. Does that have something to do with it?
I think it's more of like, just imagine you 7 years ago, or even before that, like. Imagine a couple getting married when they're very young and they're both the same age, and then the girl goes off and she gets a boob job, plastic surgery, she gets all this kind of stuff, and then she goes on IG, and then out of nowhere she's got 400,000 followers, and she's getting hit up by sultans in Saudi Arabia to fly her out and pay her $60,000. Like even if she doesn't say yes, her mind is like, somebody's willing to pay me $60,000 and I married this schlub. Like that's what starts happening, and it starts to decay the relationship. This happens for both sides.
I agree, but I think that if it's a guy that has no goals, if it's a good woman, and then you married a guy, may or may not be speaking from experience.
We're gonna get to that next. That is the next topic.
But if it's a guy that has like no goals, no ambitions, nothing in the near future, that's like perfectly comfortable living the same life that they've been living for the past 10 years.
For sure.
Then it's like, okay, well, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I want to, change?
So you're saying you want to go for someone that has more ambition rather than, so you want to go for someone
it's not
that's
about the money.
Yeah, it's not about the money.
It's about the goals and the ambition and the mindset.
The money comes with it.
It comes with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Even with females, like,
It is. Okay, so that's interesting. So the divorce rate is about 54% in the U.S., something like that. I've heard 51 to 54.
I'm part of that.
And about 78% of the divorces are initiated by
females.
That's correct, by women.
Ooh,
and
can't
so,
imagine why.
So there's sort of this duplicity.
Can't imagine why.
There's sort of this duplicity that happens where women insist on monogamy, and then later on they're like, well, I broke up with him because we both changed as people. Well, then that's not monogamy. You understand?
But so that happens. Right. Some people marry too young.
Okay, right. But the thing is,
some people do.
I hear the same women complaining that men are fuckboys, and then they get with some guy. They're monogamous with the guy, and then all of a sudden they're like, I changed as a person. We changed as different people. It's like, well,
hot girl summer.
Then you're not monogamous anymore. Exactly. Hot girl. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That is true. And then this all comes, the root of it all is you getting married too young.
Yeah, well,
that is the root of it all.
Some
To be honest.
anthropologists and evolutionary psychologists might argue you getting married at all is the problem, right?
Yeah, some people are just not,
Well, again,
meant to get married.
There's a pretty strong argument that the idea of being with someone your entire life is so statistically unviable because it doesn't happen very often unless we're talking about agricultural environments where like you literally needed a partner to survive, right? You remember you go back 100 years.
What is your opinion? I'm curious.
We'll get to that. we will definitely get to that. It's not my opinion, but like again, if you look at the anthropological record, it's a function of Homo sapiens live a lifetime of polygamy interspersed with periods of monogamy. You had a boyfriend in high school, then you had another boyfriend, then you had your first marriage, and then at some point you guys grew out of each other, and then you had a second marriage, and then you went on and you dated someone. Like it just goes like that. And the whole time you wanted monogamy, but you kept going from one monogamous situation to another. Whereas you have a man, and he's just like, I want to have sex with a bunch of different women. I want to try a bunch of different things, and then in doing so, he ends up meeting a woman that he really wants to be with, and then he settles down, and then she's like, you got fat. I'm leaving you. Oh, you know what? I don't feel like you're ambitious enough. Let's go ahead. Because the difference for men is like we're always going to be judged on how we perform, no matter what. Like you just said, you used the word ambition, but in the end, it's like we are going to have to perform and validate something to keep a woman of high status because there's too many other men
just
trying
like men.
to do
like,
that.
Okay, if you're a female and then like you marry a man and then, you're not working, cooking, clean. You're not doing anything at all. Like,
I mean, what about Cardi B? She doesn't cook or clean. She's tell you I got that.
Okay, well, I mean, if I was Cardi B, I wouldn't do any of that either.
Right, exactly.
It's like, fuck you, bitch. I got money.
Yeah, but isn't it like, I don't know if it's a genetic thing. I don't know what it is, but men, we have the reputation of men have a reputation of being the providers, right? And the women, the nurturers or the mother.
For sure.
Yes.
So I feel like that's like inner instincts, right? So maybe if the woman doesn't feel like the man is being the provider,
then
she starts seeking other routes.
So she would have an evolutionary pang to say that this is not the best situation for me to raise children with someone who is not ambitious or a provider. Yes, there
and
is.
Maybe the man sees the woman's not the nurturer, or she's not giving, putting in her part. Maybe a man is also like, you know what, like it's just like it's just ingrained in our minds, right? Maybe they're like, you know what, I'm not happy with this person. They're not doing anything that we I guess like our roles as like male and female in society.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Your roles in society are up to society, and they're up to you. If you choose to not get married, that's completely up to you. But when we talk about the evolution of Homo sapiens, which is 300,000 years, or the evolution of hominids, which is 3 million years, you guys are the ancestors of Homo habilis and Homo erectus and Homo neanderthalis and all these other hominids. When we talk about that evolution, you are correct about men being hunter-gatherers and women being nurturers. But today, it doesn't necessarily have to be that, because a lot of times whenever I have an explanation or a discussion about anthropology or evolutionary psychology, a lot of people get angry. They're like, no, that's sexist. That's misogynistic. And I'm like, no.
It's not sexist.
It's not sexist, but but it is the way things used to be. It doesn't mean that's the way things need to be.
It's not sexist. It's not sexist, and it's most certainly not the way it has to be.
Right.
But realistically speaking, scientifically speaking,
it's the way things work.
Statistically speaking, that is a way that it works.
It is a way that it works.
I feel like it's kind of
it is a way that works mostly.
I feel like
not fully, but like statistically speaking,
in general,
that's what's gonna work the most.
I feel like as women, it doesn't necessarily have to be this way, but I feel like as women, we just kind of grow up with this instinct, right? And it's nothing society can teach us. We just kind of have an instinct.
So let's talk about this. Why would you, don't think about you as a person, think about you as a member of a species that has 46 alleles and 23 chromosomes, that you got here through evolution, right? You understand? That's why we're not like monkeys. You got here through evolution. Why would you have this instinct instead of culture being able to teach you something? What would cause that?
Probably because I have the ability to create a new life.
Okay, well, correct. But even the ability to create a new life and to love that life, right? Nothing is probably more powerful than the bond between a mother and its child, because of oxytocin flows that happen in the brain, neurochemical flows that happen. if that happens, then that had to be selected for through evolution. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't selected for through evolution, then we wouldn't do, literally mothers willing to kill themselves, willing to die for their children. That had to be evolutionary selected for, because if they didn't, we wouldn't have a species. There wouldn't be 8 billion of us on this planet. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the point that I make, because you asked me what my opinion was before, my opinion is everything we do is based on evolution. Everything we do comes from our ancestors. The ones that chose to go after the alpha men who could protect them, they lived longer. And the men who chose the women who were the most faithful, or were capable to being the most nurturing, they lived. They were most likely to have offspring. And the ones who didn't, those are the ones who died. Just for instance, you guys have a fear of heights. If somebody put you over a balcony,
I have a fear of heights.
you'd freak out. Okay,
fucking
all right, but no
terrified.
one had to teach you to have a fear of heights. Your ancestors that didn't have fears of heights, guess what happened to them?
They died.
They died. They jumped off cliffs and they died, and they didn't get to reproduce. So that's why you have a fear of heights. Does that make sense? It's also why you don't eat poop. It's the reason why you like things that are sweet. It's because evolution made you like that. Does that make sense? And nobody.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that was evolution or just, the fact that you don't want to do that.
No,
So you don't eat it.
Okay.
Could I have another shot?
Yeah, let's have another shot. There we go. There you go. Get some of the Ignite tequila.
Right now.
I got
Nice.
you.
All right. Not eating poop. Hashtag don't eat poop. Beautiful.
This sounds disgusting. Oh
Yes.
my God.
All right.
My God, this is not what I came here for.
Okay, so let's talk about what we came here for. Sabrina, you said you told me last night you were the only girl who would never cheat. You would never
I've
cheat.
never cheated in my life.
Okay, keep going
Ever.
on. Keep going. Why do women cheat but Sabrina doesn't cheat?
You know why I don't cheat? Because it's all about my upbringing.
Okay.
I never saw that in my family, which
Okay.
I think that has a lot to do with your beliefs growing up, right?
Brianna
Not
hold on.
everything.
Let me just point out for people on the podcast, Brianna cannot stop laughing. She literally
No, I'm listening. No,
Okay.
I'm not.
She's laughing because she's drunk.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But
That's
she
it.
knows,
I'm
but
so
she knows.
drunk right now. Yeah.
She
That's
knows. She knows.
No, I think she's laughing because never mind. Keep
No.
going.
Okay.
I don't know.
Not cheating.
I'm loyal as a dog. Like
She
I'm
is.
so loyal. I'm a loyal friend. I'm a loyal
She is
family
very
member.
loyal.
I'm a loyal.
I can vouch for that.
Girlfriend. I just, you know what? When I'm with someone, I don't even have the urge
Really?
to think about someone else or fantasize about
Incredible.
someone else. Yeah, I just that's me, and that's all I want. Sure, like do you know, or sometimes are you attracted to someone else? Sure, you can be attracted.
Yeah.
But in my mind, there's no flirting. Like I'm very respectful. I
sure.
I respect my man, and I respect my relationship.
Okay.
And if I'm not happy, I have a choice. So if I'm not happy, I can leave, and then
But you aren't cheating then. You're telling the truth.
no, I'm not.
'Cause
No,
you're telling the
absolutely
truth.
no. And I'm also, I've never been with anyone that's been controlling.
Okay.
Because I don't allow that. I'm not controlling. I'm not a jealous person. Have I gotten jealous? Of course, it's human nature.
Yes.
Of course, when you care about someone, you get jealous. Certain things, but I'm very vocal. I think communication is everything. I'm a good communicator. Men typically aren't as good. So then you just talk to them and try to get them to get better at it. But I would never cheat.
Okay.
And it's just, I can't.
Okay.
Like I can't.
You have empathy towards the other person.
I have so much empathy, and
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with
For
it.
for me, that is the thing I think about is like the look on the other person's face,
Yeah.
or the hurt that it would create.
Absolutely. I
to
can't
me,
hurt
that it would
people.
be the main reason why I wouldn't cheat. Yeah.
I could never purposely hurt someone.
Okay, one question. What about if they cheated on you first?
Okay, we'll get to that in a second because
Girl, you
while
know
we
what?
ask that about her, we're going to ask you a similar question.
Oh, no, don't ask
So
me.
that's the reason why you have never cheated and you would never cheat. You would just
Right.
break up instead.
Right.
That makes a lot of
Right,
sense.
right.
Now let's all focus our attention right here on
Let's
Brianna.
not.
Here's another story.
She has a very different story. So let's talk about Brianna. When we brought this up last night while drinking tequila, and Sabrina said she would never cheat, you started laughing uncontrollably. And can you explain why? What is your feeling about this subject of cheating?
Okay, well, obviously I don't condone it. I don't,
Yeah,
I'm not promoting it.
of course.
Don't do it.
Don't cheat.
You don't have to, girl.
Wait,
It's
wait, wait.
plenty of
Don't do
that
it.
going
have-
on.
Girl, don't do it. Don't do it.
We have rules in Las Vegas. Ready? If you're in Las Vegas, it's not cheating. Don't ever cheat on your boyfriend unless you're really horny. Then that's fine. And yeah, if you're in a different county, it's not cheating. Go
No,
ahead.
I mean, obviously it's never okay because at the end of the day, even if you're dating someone and you end up cheating, you're cheating yourself.
Okay.
Because,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure that's how.
However-
I'm sure that's how her ex-boyfriend feels about it. It's like, you know what? She cheated on. She cheated on Sabrina, but you know what? She really cheated herself. That's how he feels.
However,
No, that's actually, now that we talk about it really quick, absolutely that's what he thinks. He knows he cheated himself.
Okay.
And now he's-
absolutely.
No, you're saying you cheated
Just
yourself.
saying.
No.
Oh, you're saying he cheated himself.
He
Got
cheated
it. I'm sorry.
himself.
There was a comma. We're
Absolutely.
missing a comma there.
Salud.
Salud. There we go. Shout out. We're drinking Ignite tequila. It's about to get on fire in here. All right. So you were saying before the guy cheated first. You're saying he preemptively cheated, and that's the reason why you did.
I mean, I would never openly admit it
Except
because
now.
I'd rather play the victim.
Yeah.
You know.
While you do this thing with your neck like this.
Yeah.
I am the victim.
I am the victim.
I am the
You
vic-
cheated on me,
You
and I would
cheated.
never admit that I did it.
So you did it after.
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, so
Maybe
this
not.
hypothetical girl, we'll call her Bethany. She cheated.
Wait, no, what's your name? What is it?
No, I am Katia.
No, what's your-
my
Katia,
my
Katia.
alter ego is Katia.
So Katia cheated.
Katia.
So why would Katia cheated because she was angry? Here's why-
Katia cheated because she was constantly getting cheated on, and then somehow she found out that her husband had another child with another woman.
Dear God.
Oh dear God. That's what Katia said.
Okay, so let me ask you something. When Katia decided to cheat, did Katia have a backup plan in her head? Like when you decided to cheat, was it just random dude,
No.
or was it somebody you kind of knew? If things go wrong, this is the emergency switch.
Good
I
question.
feel like I have to ask Katia because I don't think I remember what Katia told me.
Okay,
Oh boy.
But I will say I do think that Katia she didn't plan it.
Okay.
I don't think Katia planned it.
she just had a really good night with really good tequila. Is
She
that what you're
was
saying?
over it. No, she was just
Probably.
over it. She
And
was over
then
it.
I think Katia at that point when she did it, Katia, you know,
Yeah, we have a saying here on the Michael Sartain show. I had a friend of mine. Ready? You do like
whose
this.
name is Katia.
No,
A
you
friend,
take your hand
Katia.
like this. You go. I had a friend of mine a long time ago. I had a friend of mine
a long time ago
who cheated,
Katia,
but I didn't cheat.
Katia. No, I would never. I would never
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
Ever
Kat-
at all. But Katia, on the other hand.
Yeah, she got lit.
She was
No,
lit.
it's not even just that. It's just like, I don't know, like if you're a female and you know you're a Katia that got cheated on, and you find out that like you married like your husband and he's the first man that you've ever like intimately been with. He's like the first man ever, the only man. And then, you know, you're this beautiful, voluptuous woman.
Katia.
Katia.
Dude, she is pretty.
Katia.
Would you agree?
Katia is beautiful
Sabrina, I
and
think so.
voluptuous.
Katia's voluptuous. And very
Katia is
beautiful.
Yeah.
beautiful
All right,
and
Sabrina and I agree.
voluptuous.
And, well,
Katia-
so was it hard when you because you're kind of like for Katia, was it hard?
Katia, yeah, for
Was
Katia.
it hard for her to like, again, you are, you know, kind of, that's the nuclear option there, right?
I don't think so. I don't
Was it
think it
hot
was
girl
very
summer?
hard for her though. I think she was in need of it
Okay.
Was it in the summer?
because she wasn't. I
Was it
don't
hot
know
girl
when
summer for
I
Katia?
hypothetically don't know when Katia would have done it, but I do know that Katia did it at some point where, you know, she was feeling very lonely. I'm sure she did. I don't know.
Okay. Beautiful. I think I understand. Yeah, so there's a again, they talk about this in the book When Men Behave Badly, talk about a backup mating strategy where you might have somebody, and I've certainly been in a situation where I've seen someone and I knew that if we broke up, I knew the next person that I was going to go out with. And they found that people tend to be happier in relationships when they know who the next person they would be with if the relationship ended.
Stop. I've never
Yes,
had that.
and it gets even
Me
crazier.
either.
If the person the backup person starts getting into a relationship with someone else, they get very, very angry. In fact, they tell a story where this woman, she's left her husband, she's gone off to be with some other guy, and when the guy remarries, she's furious. She's like, who's going to take care of our kids? And like, well, you left me for someone else. And she's like breaking shit and she's going crazy because he was her backup plan. And so when people lose their backup plan, that's happened to me before where I split up with a girl and then all of a sudden I start seeing someone else and I realize, oh wait, I was the backup plan and now she can't have me anymore.
shoot.
And so they, you know, they reach out and they're very angry. But it's, again, I would highly recommend this book.
Well,
I've
that
never
is
had a
why-
backup.
Well, that is why your backup plan has to be you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's always just been about me. I don't have a backup plan.
That is my backup plan. I
I'm
am
my
me.
backup
I am
plan.
the backup
Do me.
plan,
Okay.
bitch.
All right,
That's right. You gotta love yourself.
We had a discussion about this, Brianna, where she was saying I would never turn away love for money, and your response to that was "fuck love, get money." Do you remember this?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Okay.
I remember.
Absolutely.
I would like to hear the debate about this. So you like money would never
I
change.
mean, I'm sorry. When love comes in, what is the saying in Spanish? There's a saying in Spanish. It's like, cuando el amor entra por la ventana, no, algo así. El dinero sale por la ventana. No, cuando el amor, cuando el amor entra por la puerta, el amor sale por la ventana.
Yeah.
Algo
I get
así.
it. I understand. Yes.
So technically, obviously, it doesn't sound as cool in English.
Okay.
But it does translate to when love comes in through the door,
It goes
money goes out the window.
money goes out the window.
No, love goes out the window. Sorry.
Love goes out the window.
When money comes to the door, love goes out the window.
Okay, so you two have very differing views on this topic.
Not really.
Yes and no.
Yes
I mean,
and no.
I understand what she's saying completely. The way that I think is, okay, so I'm extremely picky,
Okay.
but I'm not picky over what I think is stupid, superficial things.
Okay, but you just before we go on, do you understand the both of you? And I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. Both of you are in the top 1,000 or 1% of most attractive women that there are. I'm not trying to flatter you, but it's seriously you.
Please do.
If we were to go to Secaucus, New Jersey or Des Moines, Iowa, you'd be the prettiest girls anybody had seen there, right? And so because of that, it's easy for you to be picky. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I
We might
understand.
want to take the tequila away from
No, please don't.
to Brianna. But so when you say that, you understand a lot of people can't be as picky as you. Do you understand? Like you are 3 orders of magnitude more attractive than probably everyone you went to high school with. And so because of that changes the dynamic as far as how picky you can be. And then when you start talking about I want true love, it's a little easier because like no one's gonna, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to blow smoke, but no one's gonna say no to you, Sabrina. No one is gonna say no.
Correction.
Oh, God.
Correction. Ladies and gentlemen, correction.
You get that.
Because I am as picky as I am.
Okay.
That's why
I
you're
don't
single.
let anybody through the door. I don't let anybody.
That's why
through
you're
the door.
single.
Because what I saw with my parents
Yes.
was the most beautiful. I mean, my mother's gorgeous.
So this makes a lot of sense. And I'm not surprised that your mother's gorgeous.
She's,
Of course.
I mean, she's
Have you seen
beautiful.
her?
Like
Yes.
my father met her. He saw her, and he had a previous marriage, was divorced. He was stricken. He just
Yeah.
was like, wow, this woman. He literally came up to my mom, and he
I
was like,
can't see
He was like,
that.
I need
I
to
can't
meet
see
you,
that.
like in a non-corny way,
Yeah.
because it was back in the day. He was like, you are gonna marry me one day.
Okay.
And she was like, Psh, okay.
Again, that would be considered
Okay.
sexual harassment in certain instances.
No, but you know what? My mother was like 21.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, God. Yeah, exactly.
And let me tell you a quick story. And whatever. My mom was like, okay. She had never had a boyfriend.
Okay.
She was like this beautiful, like angel, like virgin, whatever. Right. And
By the way, all 3 of us are. Shout out to virginity.
oh no, absolutely.
Pa' arriba.
Virginity.
Virgin.
Pa' arriba.
Arriba,
pa'
abajo,
abajo,
el
pa'
centro para virginity.
For at least another,
Virginity.
until we get married.
Until we
right?
get married. No sex until marriage. Keep going.
So, my dad said this to her, and she was like, "Oh my God, this guy, he's so like, presumido," which is like he just thinks he's the shit, right?
Yeah.
But my mother liked him because he was mature. He was older than her,
Yeah.
and he was very well cultured. My father was very, very intelligent. Anyway, so they fell in love. 3 months later, they got married.
Okay.
Which is crazy.
I mean,
crazy.
really,
and they were always
in
After
Venezuela
3
in the
months?
1960s or 70s is not that crazy.
I
But
mean,
after 3
yeah, 3
months?
months, that's crazy.
Dude.
At any point you give it, because my mom had never
3
had a
months?
boyfriend. That was her first boyfriend. He just
That's
like
probably
swept
why.
her off his feet. He
Yeah.
was smart, intelligent, cultured. Like he just had so much to offer. He was a complete gentleman.
Yeah.
My mom fell in love. My mom
How much older
and
was
again,
he?
Let me say,
How
he's
much
16
older?
years older.
Oh,
and let me
that
just
makes
say,
sense.
my mother,
makes sense.
she had a lot of men hitting on her.
I would
but-
Of
imagine.
course.
but she was she was very mature. From what she tells me, she was very mature for her age.
A smart, beautiful woman. We like older men that are mature.
Mature.
It's not even that they're
And
older.
lived a
We like
life.
mature men.
You know, like for me, I always say like I'd rather date an older guy because I want you to go have sex, go
Wine
do
and
whatever
dine
you
me.
want, go have sex all you want, go do whatever you want, go have your fantasies, go do your whatever, and then I want you to get to a point where you're like,
I want to
God,
settle
I'm
down.
tired. This is empty. Like I want a woman that I want to have a family with, that I can like love, that is faithful, that like that I can have dreams with, and like, you know what, like straight up, because I lived through this, I want a woman that can take care of me when I'm older, or I can take care of her, or if God forbid, like I'm handicapped, like she's loyal and she loves me enough where she'll take care of me, because I saw that
That's incredible. Okay.
I saw that with my family.
So this makes a lot of sense, because this was the structure of a relationship
Like
that you were most familiar with watching your parents.
Yes,
like my parents stayed together for 40 years up until my dad passed away, but I did see them argue every once in a while, and so I think that
normal.
For me in a relationship, I have two rules. Rule number one is you can always ask me how I feel. You can never tell me how I feel. You can never tell me I love someone. Absolutely. You can never tell me that I don't care about you. You can ask me, but you can never tell me. And then the second rule is if I do something wrong, you have to tell me now. You cannot tell me a year from now. There are no checklists. There's no grudges.
Communication is everything.
For sure.
I have yet to find a woman who can follow those two rules. To be honest with you,
good luck.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. But
good
like
luck finding a woman or finding a man. Honestly, it's very difficult. Again, why I'm single.
Finding a man.
Why it's so hard?
Single,
Why
yeah.
so hard?
Shout out to being single.
So hard?
Single,
so it's a double.
single boy. It's 2021. Single winter.
Well, you were
single
saying it's totally a double-edged sword. Like, okay, you could be attractive, but like, it's like I don't have a problem. Not to sound conceited, but I don't have a problem men wanting to date me.
Is that crazy?
I have a problem me wanting to date them.
You have a problem. Can you believe it? She has no problem with men wanting to date her.
I cannot believe this.
I cannot believe this. I'm utterly shocked.
Oh my God, you have no problem.
Brianna,
I'm just saying, it's
men wanting to date you. Oh my God.
Brianna, I'm shocked by her arrogance. I can't believe that she would say something so arrogant.
Oh my goodness.
I cannot believe that you would ever have a problem.
We're aware that you have no problem, Sabrina.
Stop it, guys. Stop. Let me have a shot.
No, but
that's terrific. Awesome. A couple things I do want to bring up.
That is me.
So one of the reasons why, and I'm not saying this is what happened in your situation, because you said your dad was 37 and your mom was 21, but a lot of times I talk to guys, a lot of very successful men, and they really like younger girls, and they don't like them because they're pedophiles or anything like that. They like them because there's
innocence.
There's an innocence, but here's the other thing. There's a point, like you guys go on social media and you have a very, very clear understanding of how attractive you are. You do, because you're constantly getting feedback for it, dopamine hits or whatever.
Right.
But you understand there was a point when you were younger where you didn't know how attractive you were.
Absolutely.
You knew you were attractive.
Absolutely.
And during that point, a guy who was of lower status might have had a shot. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yes,
course,
I do. Unfortunately.
Of course.
It sounds very similar to the situation you described.
Unfortunately, I do. Yeah, but
the sexual market value, I think, was sexual mating value was like, I think the term David Buss uses. But a lot of times when a girl's 19, 20, 21, she doesn't know what her value is.
No, we don't. And it sucks.
And I hate to use the word sexual
say,
marketplace, but that's the term they use in the book.
Can I say something? It is very sad that like, okay, our sexual value is like worth more when we're like 20, 21 versus when we're like 27, 28.
So if you, the thing is, you can actually look at these numbers and find hard numbers if you go on dating apps and you say which girls get swiped right on the most, and it goes, it peaks at 23 for females and it peaks at 38 for men. Or that's not, I'm sorry. It begins the peak at 38 for men and stays there till they're about 44. For women, though, it's much shorter. It goes from about 23 to like 25. That's generally how it works. And so you'll see this like women that are 23 going out with 38-year-olds.
We are most certainly not 25.
Yeah, but so here's the difference though. Like I had a guest on recently. I'm not going to say who she was because I want to give her age away, but she's 37 and she looks like she's 22. Mm-hmm. And so the things that other women in her age group would have to worry about, she doesn't because of physical fitness, plastic surgery, modern medicine, and things like that. So that number gets pushed out way further and further and further. And so what ends up happening is now she's 37. The likelihood of her carrying children to term when she turns 40, it's just less. I mean, it's just a biological fact,
Absolutely.
you're more likely to carry a child to term at 23 than you are at 40.
Right.
But
Yeah.
she's a 40-year-old who looks like she's 25,
Of
and so she
course.
doesn't see the
There's
need
so
to settle
many of
down.
them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So men, there's a scientifically, I believe it's proved out as well. I saw, I think, a documentary. Men are more attracted to women that look the most fertile, which typically is young.
Okay, so
Which
now,
is the
Young.
curves.
So it is the curves, but let's look at something else.
the
Let's look at the
curves.
contrapositive of what you said. When women go through menopause, there's studies that show that men can smell it. They can tell when their wife is no longer
God
fertile.
damn,
They can
really?
tell. They can
Fuck
sense.
them.
They can sense. That's not literally smell it, but through pheromones, they can sense that their wife's not fertile. And you will see the study shows men dating the secretary, buying the red Ferrari.
I
That's
wish
when it
they
happens.
would. I wish
It
they
happens.
motherfucking
It coincides with menopause, and it's really shocking. So the opposite of fertility, which would be menopause, would trigger something like
Right.
that. So as far as fertility, here's a couple things, right? Facial symmetry shows good genetics. Long hair, so a lot of women have fake hair. You notice if you have a woman who's 50 years old and she has fake hair, you can't tell how old she is from behind, right? Hip to waist ratio, nice skin, all these kind of things. You're right. They are signs of fertility. That's exactly right. And then youth is the other one, right?
Right.
Even breast implants are there for a sign of youth. Same thing
Right.
with Botox.
Right.
Same thing with liposuction. Those are things to show youth, essentially, which, again, like what you said, shows more the likelihood of being able to carry a child. Sabrina, you said you had a very conservative upbringing. You said you couldn't wear certain outfits.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to wear jeans going bike riding and rollerblading in the summer in Miami. When I was little, I had to wear freaking jeans. I would go out in shorts, and my dad would be like, "No, go back to your room, put pants on." So it would, oh my God, it would be the most terrible, frustrating thing. And I don't know if it was because of the fact that maybe it was too sexy, and like my dad didn't want anyone to look at me as other than like a child.
That's crazy.
But as soon as like I was able to like paint my nails like red or like something else, like oh my God, I just felt so liberated.
Where does this liberation have? Off to college? Where does this first happen?
I think like I think like maybe
Life.
once I was probably in like junior high, because and that's only because my dad would be like, "No, you're not going out like that." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, Dad. I am going out like this." And then I would get in trouble because I'm very outspoken, and I've always been very outspoken, but I would get in trouble when I was young, and it was like, "Shut the hell up, go to your room, change." I'm like, "Okay, fine," you know. But I got to a certain point where I was like, "No," and I started rebelling, and so like I was the only one. I have two other brothers, and like I was the only one that was rebelling because I was like the girl, you know. And then I was like the girl that like, you know, I was like a pretty girl in high school, I guess, right? And my brothers are more homebodies.
Yeah.
So I was the one that was like the first one to be like, I want to go out, I want to go here, I want to go do that, and I was always no. And also I was a girl, so like I was never allowed to do anything. And then it got to a point where I just rebelled and I started doing what I wanted to do, and then eventually when I got to college, it was like freedom.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even like that much because I had a boyfriend, and so like I was in a serious relationship. So I was
so there's two parts of this, right? So if I'm your dad, I'm looking at this, I'm like, well, I raised my daughter to be conservative, and now she's a bikini model, right? So I don't know how that worked out. And
oh
then the
my
other,
God,
but the other,
like that's been such a controversy
Yeah.
for me in my whole life. Like,
so, but like the thing is there's studies that show that parenting, like the most important thing is the peer group that you grow up in, but it's not parenting. A lot of parents think that like parenting, if you meet a certain standard, meaning, you know, food, clothing, shelter, and give them a certain amount of love, once you get past that point, it doesn't really have that much of an effect on how people turn out. And the reason why they can show this is because they take twins and they put them in different environments where they're, you know, and the twins end up being the same person, basically, because genetics have more to do with it than their upbringing, their environment, right? So now in the same situation with you, when you're with your boyfriend, though, because of what you saw with your parents and their relationship, you said you were super loyal and super respectful, and that was because of the
That's what I
model
saw
that
at
you had
home.
seen from your
Yeah.
from at home. This woman has no red flags. I don't know what the fuck to do with her.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
That's
got
why,
no red flags.
That's
Sabrina.
that's why it's hard for me to choose someone, but it's not hard for someone to choose me.
Yeah,
That's what
because
I'm
they all
saying
have
the
red
whole
flags.
time.
They all have red flags, and you don't have any. You start dating someone, how quickly do you intimate to them that you are only interested in monogamy, nothing extra monogamous, and
I mean, do you
eventually
say
married?
that you're
I
only
mean,
interested
okay.
in monogamy? Like, do you? Like,
Well,
Are you
again.
like, seriously, first date? Are you like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm only looking for something serious. I'm only looking for something monogamous.
Do you?
That's a great question. Because do I even date, girl?
Do you? I'm really curious about this.
You know what?
Because that's the only thing.
I'm getting really upset.
That's the only thing I could see as being a red flag. Is
It's
that
so sad
I have
because
seen women that do that.
It's so few first dates I can actually say I've had.
Yeah.
Because when you go out with someone that you think is cool, but they want to get to know you, for me, it's not considered a date. I only consider dates when you want to get to know someone and they want to get to know you back. That to me is a date.
Okay.
If I don't want to if I'm just cool with them and I don't consider
These
them
are a lot
someone,
of men asking you out, but you don't give a fuck about them, so it doesn't matter. Correct. Yeah. Again, going back to the original thing.
So how many first dates have I had?
again,
Like
Brianna,
probably 3.
Brianna, again, can you believe this? Guys want to go out with Sabrina. It's shocking.
No, I cannot believe this.
You have
Oh my God,
no red
wow.
flags. No red flags.
Really upsetting.
That's amazing.
Very
Brianna,
upsetting.
Brianna, I want to ask you a question, but I'm afraid. I'm actually quite terrified.
What?
I'm afraid
What?
YouTube's going to take the video down for public drunkenness at this point.
What?
Okay,
What
here we go.
question?
Ready? So you talked about growing up as an ugly duckling.
I didn't. I was beautiful.
You're beautiful the whole time. Okay, well, forget that.
I was beautiful.
Jesus.
Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So can you comment on that? Your upbringing. Did it have an effect on how? Because here's the thing, right? So now let's look at your situation.
I will say my situation is very fucking different than like any situation that I believe that you will ever find because, dude, I was like raised like halfway in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico, where you're like getting fucking murdered and
Yes,
like shot
I am aware
at
of Ciudad de Juarez.
And Ciudad Juarez.
Juarez.
Ciudad Juarez. I am from Ciudad Juarez. You are getting literally like freaking like shot at
Yes.
for going to school.
Yeah, I remember. I'm from Texas.
My grandmother. Anyways.
So, but just going back to what we said before, right? So you told me last night that you felt like growing up like you were an ugly duckling, and then you said you married young.
I did. So, okay, here's the thing. When I was young, I had bigger breasts, and then growing up.
Than the other girls.
Yes.
You're saying bigger breasts than now, but no, bigger breasts than the other girls.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Since I wasn't like in like.
So you looked more of a woman than most of
Since
your
I
like
was
classmates.
in what is it called, like
Junior high?
middle school.
Middle school, okay.
Middle school. Since middle school, like I had bigger breasts, and it was always so uncomfortable because I was like, oh my God, like I don't, like I don't want to show anything.
So you were
And
more
then-
sexualized, maybe.
Yeah, and then like middle school, I was like, I don't know.
And then high school, you're like, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. You guys love cooking. We talked about this a little bit last
Oh,
night.
we love cooking.
We love food and we love cooking.
love to eat it. We love to cook it. We love to do everything with it.
Everything. No, I'm just kidding.
Not kidding.
Anyway, let's keep on.
Okay, we're not going to do everything with food. That's awesome. And animals. Do you guys have any animals?
3 dogs.
Yes.
You have 3 dogs.
I have
You're
3 dogs.
obsessed with dogs.
I love dogs.
We
They're
love the doggies.
best. Okay, so I always say God's gift to humans, in case anyone questions it, it's dogs and mushrooms.
Okay, cool. So let's go into dogs and then we'll go into mushrooms.
Honestly, I'm very blessed to have 3 amazing dogs. And they're just so loyal and they're loving and they're like the children I never had. And they just bring me so much joy. Honestly, they bring me so much joy. Like they are my alarms. So I live with 1 dog. I rotate with my mom. So my mom keeps 2 and then I rotate every now and then.
Yeah.
And it's just like my natural alarm. Like I would much rather wake up to my dog wanting to use the bathroom.
Yeah. Got it.
And then like feeding it, then waking up to an alarm. So I wake up around 6 to 7 every morning.
Jesus, 6 or 7 in the morning.
Yeah, but I love it. I'm a day person.
Yeah, you literally have no red flags. This is like one of the most shocking things.
sure
She goes to bed early. She is loyal to her boyfriend.
just saying
she
I
would
don't
pick
have-
love
Oh
over
my
money.
God, I am sure I can find some red flags.
There's no red flags here. This
Find
is crazy.
some.
You're not drinking anymore, but we're gonna have one more cheers because we're gonna talk about this next subject here. Ready? Raise your glass.
Cheers, guys.
Ready?
I'm
1, 2, 3.
water.
1, 2, 3. Shitty exes.
Yes. Woo.
Shitty exes. Ready? You guys wanted to talk about this. You don't have any shitty exes, do you?
Can I just laugh and not comment?
Oh, so we're not gonna comment. Okay, that's fine.
No, I have a relationship that wasn't ideal.
We like to call it
But-
a relationship.
I had I had a relationship, but great person, shitty boyfriend.
Listen, this is how few red flags she has. We are literally talking about shitty exes, which is something, I don't know if you guys watch my Monday show. I can get women to talk about 4 hours, and she won't even talk bad. She won't even talk bad about her freaking ex.
Aww.
This is crazy. This woman has absolutely no red flags whatsoever. It's crazy, man. I'm sorry, Travis. I'm looking at the wrong camera because the tequila. We were talking about, there's a study that shows that mentally... I can't believe I'm talking about this.
Break.
We were talking about people report having better sex with mentally unstable people, like people who are just like unhinged. Have you ever heard this?
I have actually. Yes, I have.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Honestly.
And I can see it.
Yeah.
Because there's probably no like attachment or there's no like commitment. But I'm a genuine believer that when you have a crazy connection and you guys just like vibe and you guys are on the same like mindset, I feel like, God, like how do you beat that? Like it's just freaking phenomenal. But
sure.
when you're not, like it's different. I don't know. I can't talk about it through experience.
You guys both mentioned before when we were driving up here, you guys mentioned the situation where on social media, sometimes you guys will have guys who take it too far. They'll end up being stalkers. Has this been an issue for you?
I mean, I've had some pretty crazy experiences. Like I've had people showing up at my jobs.
Really?
Yeah. I've had, I'm almost positive, like someone put a GPS in my car.
Whoa.
So they would follow me to like where I was and show up and just like, oh, you're here. Why are you here? I'm like, it's my birthday. What do you mean? What do you mean? Why am I here? Who are you? They're like, oh, who are you with? I'm like, I'm in this group. And they're like, oh, and I'll be like, oh, who are you with? They're like, I'm just here.
I'm just here.
I'm just here. You know, it's like normal. I'm just come by myself. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I have to be like, all right, bye. Well, you know, going out,
Yeah.
like, go, okay,
hang out
bye.
by
See you.
yourself.
And nice to see you. Bye. But they just kind of stick around.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's too much. It's been a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting.
A lot.
I've had
And I can't even say much because I'm scared.
I've had a similar situation, but the thing is, it's like what you said before. I'm not scared. Like I've had situations where guys will show up to my events, or sometimes girls, and it's very clear that like I didn't invite them. I don't know how the hell they ended up here, but I'm a 220-pound man, so I'm not really that worried about it. And this is an issue where, like, as a woman, you might be afraid because these guys take the fantasy just a little bit too far, and they try to turn it into reality. And then they're talking to you, and not only are they trying to make the fantasy a reality, they're not working on the rest of their life. So when they meet you in person, they're just cringe to begin with. You understand? Like, there's probably men that have met you that have probably followed you for a while, and you meet them, and they're well-mannered, chivalrous. They probably, you know what I'm saying? And then you're like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And then later on, they might tell you, hey, you know, I followed you for a while or whatever. It seems normal.
And that's
It's
fine. That's
it
fine.
seems normal. But they worked on themselves. They went to the gym. They brushed their fucking teeth. They read a book. They got a college degree. They got a nice job. All these other kind of things. And then they met you, and they all probably had experience, like you said before. Go out, meet other guys before you end up dating me. That's what you said before. It's fine when they're older and maybe they get tired of it. Then they meet you and they talk to you in a normal manner. But these guys that are stalking you, they don't have that skill set. And so they come up to you and then they make things even more awkward.
Yeah. I've gone through some situations where I've really just actually been scared.
Yeah.
Been scared and which is actually probably why I don't even want to talk about it because
Yeah, that's fine. We don't have to. Like if you don't want to get into anything specific, just to let you know, this is a a pervasive thing with all girls that would be in your
Mm-hmm.
situation where they just take things a little too far. Sometimes I do interviews at the AVN Awards, Adult Video News Awards, the porn expo. And I go there and a lot of the girls are friends of mine and I'll walk them around because legitimately I'm afraid for their safety. Like we're walking around the expo because anyone can come up and talk to them. And I watch these guys walk up to these girls, Madison Ivy's an example, or Phoenix Marie or Nicolette Shea. And I watch these guys walk up and talk to them like they know each other. Like, this is my girlfriend. Why are you sitting here standing next to my girlfriend? And I'm like, what's up, bro? Like, this is so fucking weird. And they start having a conversation like they know each other. And the girls are like so used to it that they get good at it, right? But this is not a situation. This is not what you signed up. You did not sign up for people to follow you on IG and then follow you to your work. So that makes things kind of weird.
Right. And I understand when people talk to me and they talk to me as they know me, or they, say certain things, even if it's like a little uncomfortable, I understand. Like, even so, like, what is it? Mental, sorry, I can't really think about like this whole like mental illness and stuff. Like, it's a very real thing, and I get it. And I'm, like I told you earlier, I'm very empathetic, so I try to understand, and I'm very nice to everybody.
Again, you are empathetic towards your stalkers. This woman has no fucking red flags at all. None.
I am.
No, I agree with you. I believe that you are, but that's the thing. Like, you are literally this. Okay, anyway, keep going.
Yeah, like a mental illness is a real thing because I have a lot of empathy. So, when people, even they're a little quirky, like, it's fine. I almost find it endearing sometimes because a lot of people are socially awkward.
Yeah.
And to these socially awkward people, I'm very nice because I don't. The last thing I want them to think is like, oh, like this girl, like, oh, she would never talk to me, or like, oh, she, like, I want them to know, like, yeah, of course I would. Like, I talk to you as much as I would talk to anybody else. Like, I talk to everybody. Like, I don't judge anybody. I'm the same exact person.
Yeah.
But there of course there's a certain barrier that once you cross, then you have like red flags, and then you get a little bit scared, and then you have to know when to put a limit on your interactions, right?
Yeah.
So I know how to do that very well. But other than that, like, I don't know, there's some interactions that have just gotten like too crazy and too scary, and I have to like step away from.
Of course. I mean, that would make sense. Yeah. That's definitely an issue that you would have. At certain levels, I know some girls that literally have to walk around with security. So I've seen that. And part of the reason why I think that is because I think social media has created a class of haves and have-nots, right? Guys who, if you are a man and you have an advantage, like wealthy, good-looking, famous, whatever, it's a huge advantage because social media now allows you to let more people know about that. And if you're a woman and you have an advantage, it's the same kind of thing. Although I'm sure you look like your photos. A lot of women don't look like their photos. They'll use FaceApp or whatever else, and then they're competing with you, right? Even though they don't look like their photos. But you end up with some men who like literally don't have any of these advantages, and that's why I was saying before, and I bring this up all the time. 26% of men in a recent survey said that they have had 0 sexual partners in the last year. Well, for a lot of women, that's shocking. 26% of men have had 0 sexual partners. And most of them are not choosing this. This is happening because they just don't have any opportunity because of their life situation, logistically, financially, whatever. And I think that's one of these things that happen. It makes it very difficult. So now you have all these men with no opportunity from a romantic standpoint, and now they're on OnlyFans or they're on Instagram, and then their only chance to meet you is to like come to where you work. Do you understand what I'm saying? It creates this like really sad it's not your fault, obviously. Yeah. You should not have to be dealing with this, but it creates this like level of sad desperation that happens, right? Where there's no other place for them to go, and you kind of wish that there was some other way to fix it. But I do think that part of what's happened is it is a function of social media, smartphones, and things like this, where we don't really have the level of self-reliance that we used to have. We don't really have it anymore. And then because of that, when people get left behind, they really get left behind in the society that we have today, right? Especially when it comes to like dating and stuff like that. So a couple more things. Changes in social media. We were talking about this before. So you've been on TikTok before, and you've had it taken down just because of stuff that you post? Yes. Yeah. And you haven't posted anything. I have a feeling you don't post anything lascivious. It's just a function of.
No, I just posted. Actually, I'm not huge on TikTok. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
We'll do a collab. Apparently, I'm huge on TikTok.
Yeah. Now. Actually, we were talking about it yesterday. We want you to collab in a video. Okay. But no, it was just it was last Halloween, and like my outfit was very provocative, very sexy, and like 2 other of my friends are beautiful girls and also provocative, and we just shot in like a bathroom. It was just like a dancing video, and it was taken down because I guess because we were in a bathroom
So
and I've gotten things taken down because I'm in a bathing suit, but I'm indoors.
It's going to say nudity or sexual activity. So I talked to some
Yeah.
girls about this. If you're face on and you're wearing a bikini or lingerie, if you're face on, then you're going to get taken down. If they show, and also, a TikTok is very anti-butt. They're very anti-butt. If you show your butt or you turn around, like if you do a 360 and you show your butt for a little bit, it triggers the algorithm and they will take you down. For me, I did a one where this one girl was my previous guest, Amanda Paris. She was on here. She was talking about, hey, if you want to date me, go do whatever you want. Like some girls, they want to, taste all the dicks. That's what she said. Taste all the different dicks. We were joking. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even like I wasn't even talking about a sexual act. And it was just one of these really funny things where like anything you discuss that has anything to do with that gets taken off TikTok, because I feel like it's really funny. TikTok has an opportunity and I feel like they're going in the opposite direction by being more draconian. Have you noticed, so you haven't been on Instagram that long. Have you noticed the changes in the way they treat you when you post stuff in swimsuits?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. So definitely, I think it all has to do with your followers and like, what kind of content you're constantly posting. For me, I shoot a lot of swimwear. So I feel like I've noticed that I feel like my following, they expect swimwear. So when I post something that's not swimwear, I'm like, oh, look at me. I'm like in this beautiful mountain and there's like this beautiful view. Like, look how gorgeous this is. I feel like I get like 5 likes. That's crazy. And then I'm like, oh, look at me. Like this crappy white background, but like, look at this swimsuit. And then all of a sudden I get like 12,000 likes. I'm like, this is crazy. But it has to do with like who's following you. So
do you ever lose respect for men for the fact that they are manipulated that easily based on your physical attractiveness?
God. Do I lose respect?
I don't.
I mean, it's not that I lose respect because I want to respect everybody unless they're disrespectful to me or to someone else.
Yeah.
But it's like, I get it. Like, yeah, like men, I get it. Like men are sexual creatures. Like, I mean, women are too in a way, but like, I feel like, it kind of sucks when I'm like, wow, it's like this beautiful photo like this beautiful whatever I don't know country or something, and they're just like yeah, I'm not gonna like this one because it's like a country that you're in that's like gorgeous. It's like I'm only gonna like the one that you're wearing near nothing. Like
maybe what I'm asking, do you ever feel disappointed or jaded by the fact that they just want that one thing?
No. I don't feel jaded or disappointed. Again, like I don't care very much about what people think. I'm very secure of myself because I know who I am and I know what I have to offer. So I mainly only care about the people that I care about. So if someone that I really care about tells me like, oh, this offends me, this whatever, like, yeah, of course it hits home, and I'm like, damn, like, okay, maybe whatever, like somehow it affects me. But if it's someone I don't care and they're like, oh, I want to lick your booty hole, I'm like, okay, or they're like, oh, you're a disgusting bitch or whatever. I'm like, okay, like I don't care. Whatever negative comments I get, I really could care less because I'm just like, okay.
Do you know how much
fucking peasants?
Do you know how much sushi? You know how much sushi you'd have to buy me to ask me to lick my butthole? That would be. Goodness gracious. You really got to take me on a date first before you do something like that. That'd be horrible.
I just don't care what people have to, I don't care what people have to say because I also know, like, the thing is, like, it's all about psychology. It's all about, like, your emotional intelligence, right? So, like, if someone says something negative, I already associate it with someone not being, they're not secure about themselves or they're not happy about their lives, which is why I've lost a lot of girlfriends, to be honest. So if you're not emotionally secure or intelligent, you'll find yourself having a smaller social circle. Absolutely. So like I have like a few select absolutely amazing friends. So if I see a beautiful woman posting a great photo, I'm like, oh my god, like you're freaking gorgeous. Like I'm all about love, but not everybody's like that, and I know that, and I'm perfectly fine with it. Like I'm good. Like I'm happy.
Okay, so now I'm a guy. I'm a traditional guy. You do seem like a woman who would. Is that what you would want, a traditional guy? You talked to me about chivalry.
Yeah,
in the car.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about. You think chivalry exists? It's dead. What are your thoughts on that? Before you brought it up in the car.
I do think chivalry exists.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not super common anymore.
Okay.
Again, which is why it's difficult sometimes for me to give someone an opportunity because that's really important to me. I saw that growing up. I saw that, with my mom. My boyfriends have always been very chivalrous, been very like respectful. Never ever have they cursed at me or said anything like rude to me. No, like we've had fights, but it's like it's a fight. And then we make up, or we compromise, which I think that's what you need to do in a relationship. Yeah. It's again communication, everything.
Right.
Sorry, what were we talking about?
No, okay. So I guess what I was getting around to is, so since you do want something traditional, right? Now a traditional guy wants to go out with you. You are it's not just that you're attractive. Yeah. It's that you're attractive and everyone's going to see this because you do, you're on social media and you represent certain brands. Do you ever have problems? Because I'm curious, like your last few boyfriends or whatever, do they ever have problems with insecurity about the number, like you traveling? Oh, we're going to Mykonos and we're going to do a photo shoot and you won't be their boyfriend and I'm going to be in different states of undress in front of men that you don't know. Do you ever have an issue with that in a relationship?
So that's a great question. So yeah, there's always been, questions, and there's been a little bit, I guess, they worry a little bit, but like, I'm very communicative. So I tell them everything.
Got
like,
it.
Hey, like this is what I'm gonna do. Like, baby, like I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like, I just met this person. Like, I just tell them everything. And it's always like, there's communication. There's always an open line. Like, you want to text me, even if it's whatever time it is, like, I'm there. Like, I don't like leave you on red and then don't respond to whatever. And because I'm not cheating, there's no room for someone to, worry. So if you can call me whatever time you want to call me, I'll pick up. Even if I'm busy, I'll be like, hey, baby, I can't talk right now. I'll call you later.
Yeah.
Whatever. Period. Hang up. Like,
one of my, I say the beginning of the end of one of my relationships was I was on vacation, or I was hosting a photo shoot in Miami. I remember I invited you to come to it, Brianna. It was we had a house in Miami. It was a couple months ago, or last summer. And while we're there, the girl that I was seeing, she just would send me these short cryptic text messages. And then we were with this other group of people, and this one girl who was at the table, her boyfriend just hit her up on FaceTime, couldn't hear a fucking word he was saying because it was so loud in there, and they just stared at each other for a while. And I was like,
that's good.
Yeah,
that's respectful.
But I remember thinking, I can't even have that. All right, we're done. Like I knew at that point, it's like, this has got to be the end of it. And it turned out to be very prophetic. But the thing is, like that, like what you said before about the open communication, if you are having problems with open communication or these other things or want to be secret, you might not want to be in a relationship in the first place.
Correct.
So in that case, because you're so open and honest, that's how a guy might overcome his insecurity. Now, here's the next question. I'm sure a lot of guys are going to want this. You are very picky. So what does a guy have to do to get through the minefields, to get through the pickiness that Sabrina has? What is the thing that makes a man so unique that he would get through the Sabrina minefields to the point where you would give him a chance?
Well, I would start out with just being chivalrous. Things like opening the car door.
Okay.
Or, I don't know. There's so many things. You open the car door. You open the door. You sit down. You pull out the chair when you go out to dinner. I love, like, when I get up, a man gets up with me.
Yeah.
I go to the bathroom, and then once I leave, he sits back down. Like, those are just little things. They're not necessarily make or break, but it does make a difference for me.
Absolutely.
And it's very traditional, very old school. I'd never forget those things.
Okay.
Right? It's not make or break, but I never forget.
But here's the
things.
thing: I can imagine 100,000 dudes wanting to date you, and a good portion of them being able to do what you just said. But they're not all dating.
Very few.
But they're not all.
Very few.
Okay, but they're not all dating. Even the ones that are chivalrous.
But there's a very few that will actually do it.
Okay, but hold on. Let's just say that they're of the very few. Let's just say even of the very few. I'll bet you I can find 5,000. And of those very few, the ones that you pick that are chivalrous plus what? What else is the thing that we're missing?
Oh, God.
Intelligence.
Like, you need to be intelligent. You need to be culture. Like, just have conversation.
Okay.
Have conversation, because I can't sit there and talk about like just superficial things all day. I can't talk about how much. I don't want to hear how much money you make.
Okay.
I don't want to hear about the new watch you buy. I don't want to hear about your fucking car. Like,
Okay.
I'm good. Like, I see it.
Okay.
I see it. You don't need to show me, and I don't need to talk about it. I can look at your watch without you telling me how much you spent on your watch. And that's the thing that I feel like that's one of the most annoying things is that like men feel like because I'm a pretty girl or I'm a model, people need to talk about how much money they make because that's literally
the last thing,
the number one thing that will turn me off, and that you will talk about it and I'll be like, done.
There's two things. Number one, I think most men don't have any female friends and cannot relate. So when they have a conversation with you, you are essentially a different species. And because of the fact that they live in a metropolitan area where you understand the watch in the car does work with some women exceptionally
which is why I hate being categorized.
Correct.
I cannot
I understand.
stand it.
But like, just imagine, so you're a guy, right? And you don't really understand women, but you know that when you lead with money, at least for, let's just say 15 to 25% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
Games.
So the same situation here, well, like once you lead with money, you can't stop leading with money. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you
yes, I know.
When people think you're rich and then you lose all your money, they still act like you're rich.
Been around it.
So that's kind of the problem. And so now this is the only crutch they know. This is the only button. And then the other thing is, it's almost like a quarterback when he gets blitzed. All of a sudden, he's got to get rid of the football quickly, and he'll throw an interception. It's like that. You're so pretty, in their mind, they're just like, "What do I do? What do I do?" Right? And then so they lead with the only thing they know how to lead with, which is they lead with money, and then so that ends up being a problem. So that's the reason why.
I have a story for that. Actually.
Let's go ahead. Let's talk about the story. You blitzed the quarterback one time.
There was once this billionaire that young, good-looking guy, blah blah, was so interested. And would try money, and I'm like, okay, oh my god, like I know so many guys with money, like I don't care anymore, like I don't care. And he was just so dumbfounded by the fact that I was not reacting to the money and to the gifts or to the this and to that, like that he didn't know what to do, so he would just get mad at me because I was like, listen, I'm like, it's not about the money, it's about the connection, it's about the conversation, it's about like how it's about the feeling, right? The feeling is everything. And he was so frustrated that the money wasn't buying me that I think to this day, like he won't let it go. Because I guess because so many girls.
Was this in Miami?
No, I mean, when you're talking to someone of that stature, it's like it goes everywhere. Like it's like everywhere. No, it's all over the place.
Because I have a feeling I know who he is. That's what I'm asking. We'll talk off camera.
Yeah, we'll talk off camera. But I mean, it's not just one. I can literally there's been a few.
Shocking. Everybody, hold on. Here we go. Ready? News announcement.
And I've dated none of these men. I've dated none of these men because it's not about the money. It's not about.
Ready? Shocking. Right. Shocking in the comments. If multiple billionaires are asking Sabrina,
come on.
Who else here is incredibly shocked with it?
We're not gonna name them.
No, it's fine.
It just turns me off, like to the point where I've literally tell my girlfriends, like, and I know I've told Brie, I was like, you know what? Like, I don't even want to marry someone rich. Like, I can't deal with this mentality. I can't deal with like most of the men that I know that have are so well off. Like, they just have so many women to like at their platter, basically. Like, you just on call, and I'm like, I'm the type of woman. I'm loyal, so I want someone loyal as well, and I want to have a family. So like, if you have that much money, it's so easy for you to get somebody else. When I'm 40, you can get someone when you're 20, even when you're 60 years old. Like, that's such a turnoff.
Oh, like, I see what you're saying.
I'm like, I just want to go with like, I just want a normal guy at this point. Like, if that's what it takes, like that's what it takes. Like, I don't want to.
If you're trying to screen for a relationship and this guy is willing to offer you this much money because you're physically attractive, then you're replaceable. Clearly, you're not replaceable. My point is, from their standpoint, because they used money to get a girl, then in their mind, it's like, I will replace her with another girl by using money. And then and
then they come back.
Correct. Well,
and then they're like, oh, I'm sorry about what I said.
Yeah.
I'm like,
so this has happened.
Can I take you out again? I'm like, no.
This happens a lot. They come back. They always come back. Hashtag they always come back to Sabrina.
They always come back.
They always come back to Sabrina.
Always come back.
Got it.
No, okay. Even the friends that have like done me bad.
Yeah.
Even my girlfriends always come back because they're like, no, he's such a good friend. Oh my God. And I'm so sorry. I'm like,
You know why, Sabrina?
I'm done.
Because you actually are not replaceable. That's
integrity
the reason why.
is everything.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna ask a couple questions. I asked it to pretty much all the guests. Your belief about monogamy as far as the species you belong to. Do you think
we're not meant for that.
Okay, so we'll get to We'll get to you in a second. Do you believe monogamy is the natural state for Homo sapiens?
I think not everybody's the same. I think for me, monogamy would work well because I'm all about building a strong, solid relationship. But from experience, because I've had more than one boyfriend. So I feel like for some of those, absolutely, I think monogamy would work. And then for others, I feel like, no, it wouldn't. I feel like monogamy would never work for them. So I really feel like it's just, I don't know, it's all about your upbringing or like how you feel or your maybe your environment. I feel like it's different for everybody. Not everybody's the same. We're all different.
Okay.
Not everybody's the same.
So now my next question, I think I obviously know the answer to this. You've never been in any extra monogamous relationship.
No.
Yeah, you went to absinthe.
Yeah.
We went to
two lesbians.
Oh yeah, no, they shouted us out because we were in the front row, so they shouted us out. They were like, "Oh, the two lesbians in the front," and we're like, "Yeah, okay."
Oh, hello, look at us.
Yeah, so we just got a lot of attention that we didn't ask for.
Exactly.
Some girls wanted to make out with us at the end of the show. They were like, they asked to make out with us, and we're like,
oh yeah,
Wait, some girls came up to try.
Yeah, some girls came up to us.
Like,
they were like, "Oh my God, are you guys
kiss you
lesbians?
guys?
Will you guys make out with us?" We're like, no. Go home. Like, no.
As a man, this is what I've always felt like. It's not other men's job to not hit on my girlfriend, because a lot of times if I date someone who's an influencer and has millions of followers, guys aren't going to be attracted to her. That is part of the business model. It's not. Hold on. Let me finish. It's not their job to not hit on her. It is her job to create a boundary around her phisical body, as far as
to respect you. Absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes. I've had the opposite problem where I've dated a woman who was mad because women would flirt with me, and I was like, that's not my fault. I don't understand. That's not my fault.
That should not be an issue. That should not be. That's not your fault.
That's a big
issue.
red flag.
Like, you know what you're getting into when you're with someone that's in like in a showbiz, right?
Yeah.
You know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
So you have to understand, like, you have no control over, right? Like, your fans or whatever your base. What you can control, not control, but what should matter to you is the way that person responds.
Right.
So so I have an ex, right, who won't follow me on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why? I'm like, support me. But he's a friend of mine, right?
Yeah.
He's my ex for a very long time, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but why don't you support me? Like, support me. Like my photos, like, support me, right? Like, the more support I get, like, I can make more money, right? And he was like, I don't want to see what everybody's writing about you. And I'm like, I have no control over that. I'm like, really? I'm like,
don't read it then.
I'm like, exactly. I'm like, so don't read it. I'm like, you can perfectly well, it's public. You can go see what I'm responding, which is like, honestly, when someone says something that's like, whatever, I respond, whatever if there's a question, I respond to the question. If you don't want someone in that limelight, then maybe you guys shouldn't be together.
All right. Hey, I want to thank the both of you guys for coming out here. It was a really, really great time. A very Vegas event here. I can't. I'm here. I got my car keys here. Will you drive me back? You're gonna drive me back to Bellagio. Will you do that for me? No, you're not going to drive me. We're excited. Hey, can we go?
Not do that.
Hey, Chick-fil-A park. We're going to Chick-fil-A drive-thru.
Thank you so much. This is so much fun.
Yeah, we'll do in and out.
Thank you for having us.
We're going in and out right after
amazing.
her. Like, listen, I don't know how much of the stuff you said I can use, but I am definitely going to use some of this. This is really, really funny. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us again. This journey has been incredible. We have so many great guests coming on. Everything from a dating coach. I finally did actually land a PhD in physics who's going to be coming on here in a couple weeks. I have some incredible people. The announcer, an incredible sports announcer I got coming on. So many wonderful guests that I'm really excited to bring to all of you. Thank you guys so much for the reception I got. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I really do appreciate that, guys. And please subscribe. Please like. Please share. And if you guys want to do me a favor, please go on Apple Podcast and leave me a review. And make sure that you follow these two incredibly talented, lovely ladies. I've known Brianna for a while. It's the first time I got to meet Sabrina. Guys, I'll tell you, they look like their photos. It's incredible. This first time in my life. First time I met a woman in my life. No red flags. Right here. Look at this. No red flags. No red flags. Guys,
And single.
Yeah. No red flags and single, right? Stay tuned. I think it's time for another shot. We will see you all next week.
Bye.